ang mga social media na parang automatic yon kapag nagkaroon ng ganong violation based on your standard ay natitake down na. Kasi katulad ng sinabi kanina Mr. Chair ni PCO Secretary, there must be a mechanisms, no? Yung halimbawa yung mga saying bad words, ayan yung mga information na hindi naman totoo, no? Yung mga fake information. So aside from yung sinasabing iba pang mga standard, wala bang pwedeng magawa? Halimbawa ang TikTok o ang YouTube, meron ba ritong YouTube? Wala din.
Wala din ang YouTube.
Oh, sige. Si Peachy na lang yung ano. So, do you use also AI dun sa pag-check? Kasi na-found out ko yung Meta at Facebook, parang AI lang yung nagde-determine eh. Pag nagreklamo ka, saka siguro nila titignan. Kaya lang medyo naka-damage na yon dun sa account, no? So, do you have that? Or balak ba kayo mag-develop ng gano'n na automatic na talaga, so hindi nyo na i-review?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Chair, and happy to help you with your account. So to answer your question po, Mr. Chair, every video that is uploaded on TikTok undergoes machine moderation. I think I may have explained this earlier, but I'm happy to repeat it. So when you upload a video on TikTok, to look for signals that would indicate that a post is violating our community guidelines. In combination with that, then, Mr. Chair, we also have human moderators, and this is for content that isn't automatically picked up by machine moderation. If machine moderation sees that, okay, there are signals that clearly indicate that something is violative of our guidelines, human moderators also get to review. Meanwhile, we also rely on community reports because no system is perfect, po, ma'am. So we also rely on users to be vigilant and report violating content to us. So that's essentially, ma'am, Mr. Chair, that's essentially the process by which we moderate and by which we keep the platform safe and secure for our users.
Okay, so Mr. Chair, thank you. How long do you do that, yung process na yun?
Mr. Chair, I regret to say that I don't have visibility on the entirety of the process, but what I can tell you is that last year, I think between, let me just check, Mr. Chair, because I have notes here. I believe, and I'll get back to you with the facts, Mr. Chair, but I believe between June to September last year, or July to September last year, we removed over 4 million videos that violated our community guidelines. I think 4.54, sorry, the numbers escape me right now. I may actually be able to find it. Yes. So I'll get back to you, ma'am, with the precise figures, but we have over 4 million videos removed, 99% of which was removed proactively. And of the remaining 1% that wasn't removed proactively, content, in other words, users reported it, Mr. Chair, 98% was taken down within 24 hours.
So it's in your presentation.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, next question po. Kasi dito sa TikTok, may mga nagsasabing namamonetize. Totoo ba yon? Yung mga namamonetize na mga ano. Kasi napapansin ko, Mr. Chair, talaga makikita natin yung mga nagti-TikTok na mayroong fake news ang fake news ang pinapropagate at saka nagmumura at saka yung mga kung ano-anong sinasabi against a person, parang yun ang nag-gain ng maraming views. No? How does it work? Paano ba sila? Kumikita ba sila? Or, kasi may nagsasabi din sa TikTok na kumikita sila in dollars. Do you confirm that?
Mr. Chair, creators in the Philippines cannot monetize on TikTok.
Okay.
So unlike maybe I can't speak for other platforms, but we don't monetize per like, per view. We don't do that. In addition, that's it. We don't. Creators cannot monetize on TikTok.
So, check mo nyo yun kasi fake yun eh.
In the Philippines, Mr. Chair, creators cannot monetize on TikTok.
Pero kung nasa ibang bansa,
I don't have
Okay.
visibility on that, Mr. Chair. Apologies because I focus on the Philippine market. But if you need additional information, we're happy to supply it, Mr. Chair.
yes. Kasi isa rin itong fake news, Sir Che, kung talagang totoo yung sinasabi niya or di pa niya alam kung merong mga in other countries aside from the Philippines ay merong nag-monetize. Kasi may mga Filipino content creator na nasa ibang bansa. So, baka yun. Can you check on that? Madam
Yes, Mr.
Christine?
Chair, we're happy to do that. Thank you.
Okay. Next, sa COMELEC, Mr. Chair, sayang wala dito talaga yung Facebook eh. Kasi ano po ako, Mr. Chair, nag-submit ako sa COMELEC na using AI, deepfake, na-receive naman ng COMELEC na. So, siguro nakita niyo na yon. So, any update po? Sabi niyo kasi meron kayong coordination with other social media. Kasi Facebook po yon. Yung gumawa po nun ay merong account name na Makabayan. So, any update po, Mr. Chair, on that?
Magandang umaga po, Mr. Chair, Your Honors. Maraming salamat po for the kind submission, Your Honor. Naghingi po kami ng tulong sa CICC kasi nung nakarang araw lang po, we were thankfully capacitated by the CICC with deepfake identification tools. Naipadala na rin po namin ito dun sa concerned platform at nagpapatulong po kami para po malaman at ma-identify, hindi lamang po mapruebahan na talagang deepfake po siya, kundi matrace po kung saan po nanggaling. It's currently being investigated po by the Task Force KKK, Your Honors.
So, basically, Mr. Chair, red tagging yon, no? Yung lahat naman, basta Makabayan, red tag talaga. At nakita yung mga complaint na na-receive nyo po, parang 63% ay mga red tagging. So, parang instead na, Mr. Chair, napansin natin, instead na mabawasan, no, yung mga ganyang fake red tagging, based on your resolution, Mr. Chair, parang dumarami pa po. So, ibig sabihin po, hindi po natin siya nakokontrol or kung meron lang mag-complaint. So, paano po kayo paano nag-work yung inyong resolution po against doon sa mga red tagging?
Mr. Chair, Your Honors, Your Honors is speaking about Resolution 1115, the anti-discrimination and the anti-bullying resolution. Yes po, the thrust of the resolution po kasi is that when somebody complains for an act of bullying pertaining to the gender, for being a person with disability, regarding HIV and AIDS, violation of the Safe Spaces Act, for being in the indigenous peoples, we really welcome po the complaint. And the thrust of that resolution, first, is it's with this use of social media. It will be reported to the appropriate platform for the immediate takedown and investigation if there was indeed a violation of the law. Kung makikita po rin kasi natin resolution, COMELEC treated the violation of the resolution both as an election offense and a ground for disqualification in case the bad actor po is running for public office. Second po, we would refer also these matters, especially to dig deeper into investigation po dun sa appropriate law enforcement body. Kaya po makakaasa po kayo yung pag meron pong complaints na natatanggap ang COMELEC, especially regarding Resolution 1115 and the other resolutions pertaining to campaigns and other matters of the Fair Elections Act, ito po yung nagiging action ng COMELEC regarding this po.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. So, including ba dito yung mga political belief, halimbawa, kasama doon sa anti-discrimination?
No po, not necessarily, Your Honors, Mr. Chair. Specifically, that's why in the first resolution of COMELEC governing the use of AI, prohibition on the fake news and disinformation, yan po yung resolution 11064. And in order to clarify na hindi po kasama yung protected yung ating free speech, freedom of expression, yung pag-express ng advocacy, naglabas po ang COMELEC ng amended resolution 11064A to ensure na yung protected rights under our constitution ay masigundahan at masundan po ng ating COMELEC rules.
Okay, so marami pong darating sa inyo na complaint, Mr. Chair, sa COMELEC. Kasi sa pag-iikot talaga namin, nakaranas din kami ng harassment, intimidation, red tagging, related dun sa pagkakampanya po ng Makabayan. So, Mr. Chair, naranasan namin yan sa Palawan. So, yun po, Mr. Chair. So, sana po meron ding gawin siguro na, so, ilan po ba yung, meron po ba kayong committee na nag-address ng mga complaint about that po, or related po dun sa resolution ninyo po?
Yes, Mr.
Dedicated.
Chair, Your Honors, it's the Committee on Safe. It is being headed by Commissioner Ernesto Ferdinand P. Maceda Jr. Kaya makakaasa po kayo na talagang tututukan po ni Commissioner Maceda at ng kanyang committee yung mga paglabag sa Resolution 1115.
Yes, siyempre yung ginagawa natin, Mr. Chair, 'di ba, in aid of legislation, hindi naman para i-curtail yung freedom of speech ng ating mga vloggers or ng ating mga citizen. So gusto lang natin na talagang ang lumalabas sa mga social media platform ay yung totoo rin. Kasi worried tayo yung paulit-ulit na nakikita ng mga bata. Kasi ang dami nang nanonood or nang gumagamit ng social media. Nakikita nila yun na paulit-ulit na mali o paulit-ulit na pinopost, ang daming post, ay kala nila ay totoo. Kaya nga nandito yung yung DICT rin, Mr. Chair, para malaman din natin ano po ba din yung ginagawa ninyo, Mr. Chair, doon sa DICT as regards dito sa mga fake news at saka dito sa mga disinformation.
Good afternoon po, Mr. Chair. Sa DICT po, sa part po namin, we have coordinations with Facebook, TikTok, and then YouTube. Meron po tayong MOA with them. May mga request po sa amin na ipapa-take down yung mga certain post. Kinikater po namin yon. Security Bureau. Nagkakandak po kami ng monitoring but hindi po namin tinitake down kaagad unless wala pong nagko-complain sa amin. If meron pong cyber crime, pwede pong maging cybercrime yung nare-reklamo. Ini-endorse po namin yun through PNP, ACG, o doon po sa CICC para po ma-collect lahat ng information.
Mr. Chair, can we have a copy of that MOA with SOCMED na binanggit nyo kanina? Para makita natin yung scope ng MOA as regards to yung sinasabi nyo, mga fake news or mga disinformation. Can we have that? Copy?
Yes po, Mr. Chair. We can provide po the information. I will ask from our office po with those material po.
Mr. Chair, can we ask the Secretariat to get that MOA?
Comsec, please take note. Can we have a copy of that MOA?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, yun na lang po kasi wala yung Facebook.
Thank you, Representative Castro. Next interpolator will be Representative Gerald Roman. You now have the floor.
Magandang hapon po, Mr. Chair. Magandang hapon po sa ating mga resource persons and to my dear colleagues. Today, we are holding the third meeting of the TRICOM and I'm very, very glad na yung mga inimbitahan natin sa mga nakaraang TRICOM na nung una ay nag-hesitate mag-attend, I finally have decided to come here. Today's exchange of ideas has been a very, very good eye-opener Namulat po sa ating mga mata thanks to the brilliant interpellation of our colleague, Representative Benny Abante, that sometimes the anonymity of a vlogger or his or her condition as a journalist or the use of the excuse of just expressing my opinion is being abused. And simply, we can draw the line by limiting ourselves to upholding the truth, what is verified, what is substantial, and what can be proven. Otherwise, it is simply a rumor. And spreading rumors that have dire consequences on national security and even shaping the opinion of the public is unacceptable. Alam niyo po, ako po, nagbabasa rin ako ng mga articles ni Ms. Crisette Laureta Chu. In fact, I remember way back in 2020, I participated in your very, very good campaign na maglikom po ng material for ating mga frontliners. Sabi ko, she must be a good woman. And sabi ko, she is also a journalist. Sabi ko, that's a magandang combination yon. Kaya nga lang ho, ako naniniwala rin ako after today's exchange and after your admission that hindi po nakabase sa katotohanan and you just reflected your opinions that maybe I think you will also agree that we want to level up itong pagko-content creation and that maybe and definitely this kind of content creation should not be tolerated and is unsustainable and is detrimental to our country, to the future generations. And we cannot keep a blind eye sa pangyayaring ito. We must put a stop to it. Naniniwala po ako, nasa puso po ng mga content creators na gusto nila sa hanay nila mapabilang ang mga serious content creators. This is the reason why, Mr. Chair, since two TRICOM meetings ago, I have been pushing for self-regulation. Alam nyo, I have an MA in journalism from the University of the Basque Country, and for several years I practiced journalism. And I realize I'm fully aware of the importance of that basic constitutional right to freedom of expression. But just like any other constitutional right, this is not unlimited. It is the duty of the state always na bantayan ito how we exercise this constitutional right to protect public interest. And I'm fully aware also that in order to reconcile these two concepts, may I ask for a little silence? I'm being distracted,
Yes,
Mr. Chair.
yes. Can we maintain decorum? Please remain silent when somebody is interpolating. Thank you. Please proceed.
I fully realize that in order for the state to exercise its function to protect public interest while responding and recognizing the basic right to freedom of expression, we always have to look for the least restrictive means. This is the scrutiny test that we as legislators should always apply. And this is the purpose why we in fact have this TRICOM. This is an investigation in aid of legislation. To give you a brief background, and later on I'll be asking some of our resource persons, including the guests who did not attend in previous committee hearings, what their opinion is. I will briefly detail to you what the Digital Council of the Philippines is. Basically, this is a council that hopefully among your ranks you will take the initiative to form. Similar to the Ad Standards Council of the Philippines, similar to the kapisanan ng mga broadcasters ng Filipinas. Now, what is the purpose of this Digital Council of the Philippines? Among yourselves, you should come up with a code of conduct and standards and regulations na galing sa inyo. Wag po galing sa amin. Dahil ako naniniwala ako na bilang mga manunulat, bilang content creators, you would want to uphold what is true. Not necessarily what is beautiful, because sometimes the truth hurts and sometimes the truth is ugly. We recognize that. And now, once you have your code of conduct and your code of ethics, what do? You apply it to your members. So, who will compose this Digital Council of the Philippines? Number one, associations of content creators. Number two, advertisers. Kasi alam ko, dyan sa mundo ng social media, marami po tayong advertising nagaganap at malaking pera rin po ang gumagalaw at umiikot dyan. Number three, we should also have the DICT. Kinakailangan din natin kahit paano may representation ang government. Dapat din po nandiyan ang the world of, the academe, so that we can also use this digital council to educate the people on critical thinking and responsible use of social media. Nariyan din po, maaari nating ilagay mga PR practitioners and what have you. So this Digital Council of the Philippines serves many purposes. As I said, education. Number two, I don't want to use the word self-policing, but how should I term it? Leveling up our own ranks, professionalization maybe. Palagay ko, it is to the interest of everybody para maging kagalang-galang naman ang sektor na ito. Sapagkat sa mahabang panahon, dahil nga sa pagdami ng mga irresponsible content creators, ay nasisiraan naman o nasisiraan ng pangalan yung mga seryoso. Okay. Now, the other purpose of this council, it could be the body kung saan maaari po tayong dumulog kung sakaling meron po tayong nahuhuli na fake news, kung tayo nabibiktima. Kung ako yung, for example, businessman na na-AI ang aking itsura at bigla na lang ako nagbebenta, ako man yung vlogger din na maaring ginantihan at binigyan ng false information, maaari rin ako dumulog sa Digital Council of the Philippines. And of course, this Digital Council of the Philippines, hindi po namin yan ila-legislate sang-ayon sa, hindi namin kaya yan. Ang gusto ko po sana, manggaling rin sana sa hanay ng mga stakeholders. What we can legislate here from the committee is how the major social media platforms could respond once a piece of content is flagged as fake. After that fact-checking process na according to my consultations, kaya namang gampanan. You can do it in a few minutes. Diba? Sa TikTok, I'm sure other social media platforms could also do the same. And ang mangyayari po niyan, pag na-flag nga po yung content na yan as fake, then we can require by law the social media platforms to flag it also as fake news. Parang yung mga community notes, may annotation para man lamang mabigyan ng katarungan. I'm not going as far as saying that you have to take down that content, but although TikTok does that. Am I right? Mr. Chair, yeah.
Mr. Chair, yes. We take down content that contains harmful misinformation.
Yes. So at this point, Mr. Chair, after explaining briefly what my proposal is, which is also a response to the call made by Secretary Yusek Ruiz, may I begin to ask some of our resource persons about their opinions about this. I would like to ask Ms. Cosette Laureta Chu, whose opinion I also value. Ms. Laureta Chu, anong palagay niyo kung tayo ay magpo-form ng isang Digital Council of the Philippines? Tapos kasama na rin dyan yung registry ng mga vloggers at content creators. Mr. Chair, maaari... Ay? Yes, please go ahead, Ms. Laureta Chu.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon. That's a very good idea as long as the parameters are clear. Like, for example, since what you want is to reduce the amount of fake news, we will have to come up with, it's a very good idea because then a lot of the people who have a massive following will also be accountable. But we just need to know what we consider massive following, how many people, kasi ma'am, ang problema dito, nabibili ang likes, nabibili ang following. So, posibleng, kunyari, sa Facebook nila, madaming likes, pero hindi naman totoong marami silang likes. Makikita niyo po sa engagement yon. If they have like 200,000 followers, but then they only have three people commenting, binili nila yon. So ang dami pong problema doon kasi ma'am, when you're part of an organization, it gives you credibility. So when you do interviews, people will listen to you, like congressman will give you time of day. Hindi nila alam na fake lang pala yung likes mo, fake lang pala yung engagement mo. So how do we delineate between real influencers and influencers who just bought their likes and engagement? So apart from that, ma'am,
Yes,
uh,
Mr. Chair, actually that what she has just expressed clearly proves that we have to set parameters and start having regulations. But the idea of having a registry of social media content creators, may I have your opinion? Because recently I have been bashed and accused of trying to exercise censorship and trying to curtail the basic freedom, this basic constitutional freedom to freedom of expression. What is your honest opinion on coming up with a registry of content creators? Hindi ko naman sabihin lahat kasi sapagkat sa Facebook, pag tinanong ko anong occupation mo, lahat nakasulat content creator. Siyempre, hindi naman po pwede yon. Siguro, katulad nga po ng sinabi ng ating resource person, dapat merong minimum number of followers or ano, which we can decide later on. But I'd like to ask, ano po bang opinion ninyo tungkol doon sa the very idea of having a registry? Mr.
Yes,
Chair.
yes, ma'am. It's a very good undertaking as long as what we regulate is an association of what do you call this content creators who are outside of mainstream media so that they are also accountable. Pero yun lang ma'am, yung concern ko kung ilan ang magiging followers nila, kung totoo yung followers nila. And also, what about those who do not, is it going to be voluntary or those who are not who do not volunteer to join, what kind of remedies para meron din silang accountability? Ang akin lang ma'am, and that's what we initially stood for, is that while we can do this for all of us, for everyone who wants to be a social media, nobody should be able to regulate free speech para wala tayong, because it's in our constitution. As long as what we regulate is the use of the platforms and the power and credibility given to all these people, as long as walang, lalo na ma'am, government agencies. Kasi ngayon, it's going to be, what about next time? What about hanap tayo na presidente or senator na abusado or congressman and they will use it against all of us, or people here who are, like, kunyari, this administration, you're in power. Next administration, you're not in power, then they'll use it
Mr.
to...
Chair, I think, yes, I would like to focus on what you just said and also remind you that this constitutional right is not absolute and not without limits. Meron ding parameters ngayon. And what we intend to do here is basically to flag the content. This is our way of administering justice to those who are victimized by fake news. Alam nyo, imposible naman na makontrol natin lahat ng content creators. There will be those who will not want to join this. So we have to be creative in thinking of means how to encourage them to join the ranks of serious content creators. May I proceed to another resource person, Mr. Chair? I would like to ask the Creators and Influencers Council of the Philippines.